I hear double. Double for what the enemy has taken from you. Shalom, my family. I pray that all is well with each and every one of you. Listen, I just got back and I was riding with my son and I was listening to Job, the book of Job, because I feel like that's where God has been leading me. And so I just want to say to you, I don't know who you are. I pray that you receive this in the spirit, but double for your trouble. Double for everything that the enemy came and stole from you. And I want to show you the progression. In Job 1-5, what did the enemy touch first? First and foremost, he showed up with some of the angels that already presented themselves to God. And he said, God asked him, what are you doing here? He said, I'm going to and fro, around the earth, basically looking for somebody to destroy. And God offered up Job. He said, have you considered my servant Job? I want to say this to you. Count it a blessing when God considers you. And I know in the moment that doesn't feel good because nobody wants to ever be considered for struggle, for loss, for heartache, for pain. We don't want to go through that. But on the other side, if you endure, there is a blessing attached to it. And as long as you stay the course and trust God, even when you don't understand, because remember, Job's wife said, cuss God and die. Job said, is it okay for us to accept good from God and not trouble, struggle, or whatever, right? But one of the things I want to point out to you is this. I don't know if you know, and I'm going to pause and ask this question. I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to pause. What was the first thing that the enemy touched of Job's? When God gave him permission and he went and afflicted Job, what was the first thing of Job's that he touched? Do you know? I want you to drop down in the comments. What was the first thing of Job's that the enemy touched when God gave him permission? It was his resources, his source of stability. The enemy will always come and attack. If you notice, what is the enemy attacking in many lives today? Your resources, your wealth, because he went after Job's camel, his oxen, and all the things that was his livelihood of how he would make a living and what they would eat, the things that plow for him and the things that work. How many of you the enemy has come after your job? How many of you the enemy has come after your place to stay, whether that be your apartment, your mortgage, your home? How many of you the enemy has come after your car? See, he don't want those things. What he wants is your faith and your confidence in God. And that's not where I'm going with this. Where I'm going with this is this. You have endured. You stood the test. You trusted God even when you didn't understand. You were chosen. God chose you because he knew that you could take the hardship. You may cry. You may have tears. Job didn't understand. His friends was trying to say something. You had to do something wrong. Because that's the first thing initially, whenever people see us going through struggle and things are happening in our lives, and it seems like thing after thing after thing after thing, the first thing people want to do is accuse us of doing something wrong. Maybe it's not that you did anything wrong. Maybe it's just because God chose you. God wanted to bless you. God wanted to bless you. Because see, I see it when you endure the hardship, when you endure the pain, not that you won't have tears, not that you won't understand, but if you endure it and you stay close to God, even with telling him you don't understand, there's always a blessing on the other side of it. There is. So I don't know who you are, but get ready. You endured. You stayed the course. You trusted God. You never lost hope. Even when people were telling you, you better do something. You better figure this out. You're going to lose this. You're going to lose that. What are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? You stayed the course and you say, I'm going to continue to trust God. You prayed. You got deep in your word. You continue to seek God's face, not just his hand. You sought his face to understand. And even though God didn't give you an answer, you still believed. You believed in his unconditional love for you. You still believed that there was no way that Jesus died for you and said, I died. He said, the enemy comes but to steal, kill, and destroy. But I came that you may have life and life more abundantly. So there was no way that Jesus died for you to have an abundant life and yet allow you to lose whatever you've lost and not reward you on the other side of it. You stayed the course. Double. Listen, it is a time of double. God is going to bring double resources in your life. Everything that you lost, you are going to get better. And I need you to receive that by faith. And I need you to worship God and thank God. Take this back to him. Confirm this word. Ask God to give you wisdom and discernment of this word. But double is coming. Double. All the people that laughed at you, all the people felt like, well, it's something you had to do. You had to do something wrong to make God upset and make God angry. No. The enemy was looking for somebody that he can attempt to destroy and attempt to steal their faith, that they would no longer trust in God because they would believe there's no way God loves me and would allow me to go through all of these things. There's no way. Job 42 is when he was restored, double. Now, if I'm honest, one of the things I question myself, I've never really asked God this, but I think God knew, well, not I think, I know God knew this was in my heart. How do you lose 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters? Yes, God blessed me. On the other side of it, I got those children back. But how do you not still think about what you lost in regards to your children? Not the material things, not the oxen, not the sheep, not your stability, not your livelihood, not your apartment, not your car, not your house, all the things, right? I just think about the children. The children. Because like for me, I have 4 children, and I think about if God were to allow something to happen to them, even if he gave me children on the other side of that loss, how do I not remember them and still hold remorse or like miss them? I always, that's just a question I had. How did Job feel about that? How did Job feel? But I just want you to know, be encouraged. Be encouraged. I just believe before this year is out, God is going to do something spectacular in your life because you stood the course. You stood in faith. You didn't curse him. You didn't turn away. You stayed. You stayed. You believed that our Father, our Abba Father, loved us. And that even though he allows hardship and he allowed loss and struggle sometimes, he never, ever let you go. He fought for you. He wiped your tears. He encouraged you. You always heard something in your spirit. It will get better. It will get better. It will get better. And that's what kept you encouraged to keep going and to keep pressing forward, continuing to believe. And so I don't know who you are. I pray the hand of God be upon you. I pray that you receive double everything that you lost. I pray that you continue to stay the course and not let any negativity get in your heart and in your ear to cause you to want to turn back, because God is faithful. He is faithful. He'll never leave us. The enemy is always going to do everything he can. And if you notice, he always touch external things. God will give him permission to touch external things in your life, your resources, your children, your home, but it's never where he could touch your body. And even if, because now he allowed Job to be inflicted with boils and things, right? But will you get negative when he allows sickness to afflict your body? Walk in expectation, my sister and brother. I pray that you all had an amazing day. I pray that you loved on family. I pray traveling grace for each and every one of you. I pray a blessing. And remember, I'm giving you the answer now, but what was it that the enemy touched first in Job's life, thinking that was the ultimate thing that would cause Job to curse God and turn away from him? Not follow, not trust God. What is the thing that the enemy has touched in your life that he feels is so detrimental to you? And I'm going to be sensitive here when I say this. It can be a child. It could be your marriage. It could be your job. It could be your resources. It could be a family member that you held dearly. What is that thing that the enemy has touched in your life that you question God, but you didn't turn from him? You all be blessed, my sister and brother. Shalom.